his story started way before he stepped on the field here. Well, if you want to see the pros do it, come out to the DuQuoin State Fair Saturday and Sunday at 7 p.m. For now, live in Franklin County and hurting a little bit, Brandon Merano, News 3. North St. Louis has a trash problem. Instead of putting their trash in trash cans or dumpsters, people are just dumping it on the side of the road. I did, Casey, and it's really an unbelievable sight here in Jefferson City. We're just on the corner of Stadium Boulevard, just off of downtown, right across from the high school here. You can see some of the fencing here. That's from the stadium right across the street, and we're actually on the front porch of Amanda Morris's home. You can see the sign here that says unsafe because she has a missing roof. She gave us permission to show you guys inside her home, and you don't need a sign to see this. I mean, this is her roof, this is her living room, her couch. Martin's storage facility does have security cameras, but the problem was his unit wasn't in their view. Good evening, I'm Brandon Merano. Inflation, we talk about it almost every day now. Now, while we're paying more from everything to gas to groceries, some corporations are reaping record profits and they're not being quiet about it. Dozens of CEOs have bragged about jacking up prices higher than just adjusting to inflation. Now, one of those being the CEO of a medical company who boasted in their company's Q1 2022 earnings call that his team did, quote, an amazing job of driving higher prices. Take a listen to this. It's part of today's ABC podcast. Start here.
And offset the amount of inflation. The team is very focused on looking at the extra inflation that's coming in. They're already working on higher.
Northeastern University reopened today after an employee reported being injured by an exploding package. Officials are now trying to figure out whether or not it was a hoax. Now, early voting in Illinois started today, and there are already problems across the state. It's mainly due to the Democrat ballot for governor. Police say somebody was shopping here at the Schnucks in South County. That's when somebody tried to walk up and steal their car in broad daylight. There's a lot of rubbernecking going on from people driving by St. Andrews Plaza here in St. Charles, and it's all got to do with this sign, simply reading, "Warning, large wild cat seen eating mid-sized animal in backyard. Watch children and pets." I'm pretty sure Mother Nature has lost her mind here in Brentwood. It says the city of warmth right when you come into town, but the water in their fountain, I'm pretty sure, ran away from the Midwest. That's because she got sucked through one of these drainage pipes. Yeah, good morning, Yasmin, and Merry Christmas. Not only can you see it, you can probably hear it too. For lights like the one on Tucker and Spruce, timers make the most sense. I even had enough time to interview this woman waiting at a red light. I mean, that's pretty awesome. If you didn't hear him, fitting the back journey. His story started way before he stepped on the field here. For Ben Angeli, painting has been his life's passion, but little did he know that same passion would drive him to care about a cause he hadn't thought about until recently. It's a labor of love.
I'm not sure what draws it to me. I ask myself that a lot, actually.
No matter the color of the canvas.
Tough. Maybe I had been not oblivious to it before, but something about that video it just was hard to watch, man.
He's talking about the video of a police officer kneeling on the neck of George Floyd.
I couldn't ignore what that made me feel like.
So Angeli started painting a picture of what social injustice looks like to him, just off the Delmar Divide.
Cops are people, we're all people, black people are people, white people are people, you know what I mean? You place somebody in a category and you're already making your own reality of who you think they are, who they actually are, and it's always gonna be a mischaracterization, man.
After his first painting of George Floyd was vandalized, Ben wiped the slate clean, painting a new portrait in the same spot, this time of Breonna Taylor.
I wasn't going to let the vandalism stop us from trying to bring attention to it.
Now he's hoping his paintings will influence others to see people in a better light, no matter the color of the canvas.
You know, see people as human. Pretty simple.
In St. Louis, Brandon Merano,
5 on your.
1,000 Marines from across the country get a new lease on life.
Our Brandon Merano, who recently returned from Afghanistan himself, got exclusive access into the one-week training program and brings us their inspiring stories.
Just a couple miles outside Defiance, Missouri.
It took me a couple of years of just kind of partying and trying to drink all my pain away, and it didn't work.
Sits a cabin full of Marines defying the odds.
So, time to try something different.
For Romero Garcia,
if they charge for this, they can make a killing.
that something was signing up for the all-expense-paid Focus Marine Foundation program.
The physical injuries that's the easiest thing. It's the other injuries. It's those scars that lie beneath the surface.
No matter the injury.
2013, my MRAP was hit with an IED. It was a mine roller that took the brunt of the force, so no physical injuries, but just a bit of TBI.
One question.
Yes. The Focus program provides Marines the tools they need to succeed in civilian life.
From the guidance I've got, I'd like to start my own company. I have a few different ideas, different niches within my industry, and hopefully be a business owner.
More than 100 volunteers run the one-week camp, cooking these Marines free meals and giving them back the bond many of them lost after leaving the military.
If you had one word to describe the men and women in there, what would it be?
Courageous.
An act of courage benefiting some of the bravest men and women to walk among us.
I think I can just sum it up in one word: gift. You know, this whole experience has just been a gift.
A gift thousands of Marines can hopefully receive for years to come.
Where do you think you go from here?
Forward.
And continue to defy the odds. In Augusta, Missouri, Brandon Merano, 5 on your.
Plant in Rockton continuing to burn nearly 12 hours after we first reported it. Smoke seen from the western suburbs. Just a few hours ago, Governor Pritzker activated the National Guard. Let's head about 95 miles northwest of Chicago to Rockton. CBS News' Brandon Merano has been on the ground all day. Joins us now live. Brandon, set the scene there for us.
Brad, all you really have to do is look over my shoulder. Just minutes ago, we got new information from officials in a press conference. At least 1,500 people here in a 1-mile radius around the plant have been evacuated. The Illinois Emergency Management Association is also recommending that people within a 3-mile radius wear masks to avoid breathing in those toxic chemicals inside that plant. We also talked to residents living right on the edge of that evacuation zone. Flames shooting from Chemtool Incorporated and black smoke filling the air. The early morning explosion leaving nearly 150 families forced from their homes.
It literally looked like we had a volcano going off, and the smoke was so intense.
More than 40 fire departments were called in to help contain the fire, fighting falling debris and grass fires in nearby yards.
The debris falling down, we've had a few like ash and stuff come down in the streets here, but nothing like what we saw coming down in the neighborhoods behind Chemtool. It's just massive. It's insane.
Chemtool employs 125 people at the Rockton location, which was hit with 2 different Occupational Safety and Health Administration complaints, one in 2013 and the most recent last month. That investigation is still underway.
They're a huge employer here in town, and it's going to affect a lot of families. This is going to be devastating.
With the Rock River just 300 meters from the plant, crews are intentionally letting the fire burn to avoid toxic water running into the river and contaminating the water supply.
This could burn for several days.
Evacuees have been sent to Roscoe Middle School about 5 miles away, where the Salvation Army and Red Cross are on standby. Others say they're renting a hotel for the night or staying with family. Meantime, residents like Ryan Chester feel for all those affected as Chemtool continues burning.
The quick response from all the communities and the fire departments from all over the state line, including Wisconsin, has been tremendous. It's been awesome to see the community kind of come together and rally around those people that are being displaced or those workers at Chemtool.
Now, this fire was so out of control, firefighters say they could only fight it defensively, and that's their strategy moving forward, Brad.
Our Brandon Merano has that story.
Causing confusion in Illinois primaries. The Illinois State Board of Elections tells me if you've already voted and Miles' name is on your ballot, like this sample ballot here, you might have to vote again if she's removed. The Board of Elections also saying they're leaving the decision about the legitimacy of those ballots up to their counties and the respective state's attorney. That means if you voted with Miles' name on the ballot in one county, it could count. In others, you may have to cast your vote again. But that's just the tip of the back and forth between the two opposing Democratic gubernatorial camps.
When
it was ruled in my favor that I was to be on the ballot, I began to receive some harassing phone calls, asking me to get out the race, offering me money, not by JB, but people that affiliated.
Now, I talked with a spokesperson with Governor Pritzker's campaign. She tells me, quote, "These accusations are patently false and utterly absurd. A judicial hearing tomorrow will determine if Miles remains on the Democratic gubernatorial ballot."
Allegations of sexual and disability discrimination from a former Jefferson County correctional officer. Good evening, I'm Julie Williams.
And I'm Brandon Merano. That officer was fired for what Jefferson County Sheriff Jeff Bullard says were multiple instances of not properly following policies and procedures. Today, I talked to both the former correctional officer's lawyer and Sheriff Bullard about those allegations.
Former Jefferson County Correctional Officer Mary Jo Conaway alleges she was sexually discriminated against and discriminated against for a disability, among other things, in a 55-page lawsuit.
The allegations are without merit. They're baseless. It's a frivolous lawsuit, and one that we have contested from its inception, and we will continue to contest.
That's Jefferson County Sheriff Jeff Bullard's take, but Mary Jo Conaway's lawyer, Jerome Dobson, thinks differently.
We think it is a very meritorious claim. We believe that, for example, with respect to the disability discrimination, there were actions taken against Ms. Conaway that really exacerbated her condition.
Dobson says one example was moving Conaway to the control room permanently for 12-hour shifts, a room he says essentially no other officer spends more than 4 hours in per shift. The lawsuit claiming the control room made Conaway's condition of constant migraines worse.
She has not been discriminated against based on her gender or any medical condition. We would not do that here. And her disciplinary history has brought it to the point where she no longer works here.
We believe the evidence will support a claim that they made their mind up well before they ever even interviewed Ms. Conaway. They knew what outcome they wanted. They saw an opportunity to use an incident and fire her over it, even when the facts were disputed.
Then the claim that a camera was set up in the control room to find out if Conaway was on her phone during her shift there, something against policy.
To place a camera under the table, pointed at her below the waist without her knowledge. Do they think that is an appropriate way to do business? We don't think it is.
Ms. Conaway had already had repeated safety violations of our no cell phone in control policy. They believed it was a cell phone, so they requested my permission to put an additional camera in the control room, one that would be in a position to see Ms. Conaway's hands and what she was holding in her hands, and that was the intent of the camera.
Bullard says attorneys for the county have filed a summary motion to dismiss the case, but as of now, both sides will get to make their arguments October 24th at a bench trial at the Benton Federal Courthouse.
Yes.
And I'm Brandon Merano. Tonight, we begin with an act of bravery encouraged by an 11-year-old in McCracken County. Lucas Taylor is being hailed a hero after putting his own safety at risk, helping his classmates escape a flooding school bus. Take a look.
The bus you're on runs off the road into rising floodwater. A scary moment for almost anyone.
People need to get to safety, and I wanted to help.
Unless your name is Lucas Taylor.
First kid I saw, I just grabbed their hand, and I took them to the back to open the door and help them get into the bus driver's arms so they could take him to land.
Putting his own safety at risk, Taylor took action immediately, helping 5 other students, some injured, get off the bus and out of the near freezing water.
Because one girl sprained her foot, one girl broke her leg, and one hurt her back.
Little did he know, his story of heroism was quickly spreading around school.
I said we started hearing the stories from teachers, that the children and their parents were reaching out, and then seeing the response on social media. There was tons and tons of likes and shares, and just glad that a story like this can get shared.
Deputies at the McCracken County Sheriff's Department took notice too, surprising Lucas at school, honoring him with the Citizen Meritorious Achievement Certificate and Sheriff's Coin.
That's rare to find, in a young man like that took it upon himself to realize, hey, there's an issue, there's danger, and to make sure that all his bus mates were off and safe, and before he even took consideration of himself. And that's just, in my opinion, that's a brave young man.
A brave young man his parents couldn't be more proud of.
It shows that chivalry is not dead, and in maybe in some small corners of the world, it's still being celebrated. So definitely proud of him with the citation of bravery and the certificate and the challenge coin from the McCracken County Sheriff's Department.
These awards serving as a constant reminder of the courage displayed by 11-year-old Lucas Taylor.
I just wanted to do it, and I guess God was helping me do it.
In Paducah,
it's pretty shiny.
Brandon Merano, News 3.